to 5-Minute Fridays. I am just about to start my 5-minute workout for today. You can see that I have my sandbag with me today, but if you don't have a sandbag, don't go anywhere because you absolutely do not need a sandbag today. You have so many options. In this one video, there are actually going to be 4 5-minute workouts. The first 2 workouts are going to be completely equipment free. The third workout, we are going to use a set of dumbbells, and then for today's workout, I'm using my sandbag. So I highly encourage you to make use of the chapter markers in this video so that you don't necessarily have to watch the entire video from start to finish. You can just watch the portions that pertain to you. So we are going to start with a full tutorial so that you see all of the exercises demonstrated and explained, and you make sure that you understand how to do the exercises with the correct form. We're really just doing 4 exercises. We are doing squats, we are doing reverse lunges, we are doing what I call dragon lunges, everyone else calls them curtsy lunges, and we are doing push-ups. So if you feel that you already have a firm grasp, a very firm understanding of how to do those exercises with the correct form, then you can skip the tutorial. If you are a beginner, or if you're just not 100% confident in your ability to do those exercises with the correct form, then I'm going to strongly suggest that you watch the tutorial, because it is incredibly important that you understand how to do the exercises with the correct form before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury and just so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. So without further ado, here is a full tutorial. I'm going to walk you through how to do each of these 4 exercises with the correct form, and we will go over your beginner modifications as well. So let's start with squats, because we're starting with squats. That's the first exercise. So with your squats, you want to start by making sure that your shoulders are back and down. So when I say shoulders back, I mean that you're going to kind of feel like you're pinching your shoulder blades together behind you. And when I say down, I just mean away from the ears. It's my tendency to constantly have my shoulders up here. So all throughout the day, I'm always having to remind myself to push my shoulders down to release some of that tension. And that's the posture you want to start with for your squats. Shoulders are back and down. So one really helpful way to achieve the correct posture is to visualize trying to tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets. So if you do that, then you're going to feel your shoulders roll back and down, and it's also going to help you keep your chest lifted nice and high. So this is the posture that we want. You also want to make sure that your abs are super tight. So if you imagine that someone is about to hit you in the stomach as hard as they can, imagine how you would brace for that impact, and that is how tight your abs should be. So shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, your abs are super tight. Now, before you think of squatting, because if you think of your squat as kind of going straight down, what's going to tend to happen is that your knees are going to end up out over your toes. It's really easy to hurt your knees that way, and that's not the movement. So instead of thinking about squatting down, instead, what I want you to think about is pushing your booty back. So visualize trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. If you really do that, then all of a sudden we're going from here, look at where my knees are, to here. So now you see how my knees are not going to be out over my toes when I start to squat down. My weight is completely in my heels. I can actually lift up my toes. And from here is where I can sink down into my squat. Look at where my knees are, over the heels as opposed to being over the toes. Okay, so shoulders back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are super tight and engaged. Push your booty back. Now at the same time that you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, you don't want to forget to keep your chest lifted nice and high. So at the same time you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, visualize trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. That's going to help elongate your spine, and it's going to help ensure that your back stays flat as well as ensure that your weight stays in your heels as you sink down into your squat, okay? Then you're going to sink down into your squat. Now, if you can sink real low into the squat so that your booty comes down below your knees, great, go for it. But especially if you are a beginner, you might not have that range of motion yet. It's fine. You don't have to sink down super low. Do your best to see if you can at least get your thighs parallel to the ground. Again, you may or may not be able to get there, but that's what you're going for. That would be ideal if you can at least get your thighs so that they are parallel to the ground. All right, and then to come up from your squat, you're going to press your heels into the ground and slowly straighten your legs, return to your standing position. So as you press your heels into the ground, visualize actually pressing the ground away from you with your heels. That's going to help you activate all of the muscles in your feet, through your legs, your glutes, and remember your abs are already super tight, so you want that entire core engaged as you come up. All right, so that is just a basic air squat. The main points to remember is that you want to make sure your back stays flat and the weight stays in your heels. Okay, flat back, weight in the heels. So let's put a couple more together just so you can see how it looks when you combine all of those little tips and tricks. So tuck the shoulder blades into the back pockets. Shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high. Tighten up your abs. Push your booty back like you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. Keep that chest lifted, nice elongated spine. And now keeping your back flat and the weight in your heels. Sink down into your squat. Now press the ground away with your heels. So really press those heels into the ground, straighten the legs and stand. All right, shoulders back and down, chest is high, abs are tight. Push the booty back, back flat, weight in the heels, and now press the heels into the ground to stand. Push the booty back, keeping your back flat, keeping the weight in your heels, and actively pressing the ground away to return to your standing position. That's it, that's a basic air squat. So if you are a beginner, and you need something to hold on to steady yourself, that's fine. Any strong, sturdy, stable surface will work. A plyo box would be great. You could use the arm of your couch or kitchen counter or dining room table. Anything that is strong enough to support your weight, if you're going to be putting weight on it. Sturdy enough so that it will not break on you. It needs to be well made and in good condition. You don't want it to fold up on you, so don't use a folding chair. And stable enough so that it will not slide from underneath you. So for example, if you're using a chair, that's fine as long as your chair is strong enough to support your body weight, sturdy enough so that it will not collapse or break on you when you put weight on it, and also stable enough that it will not slide from underneath you. So a chair is fine, but if you're on a wood floor, for example, I would recommend putting an exercise mat or a yoga mat down first and placing the chair on top of the mat to help keep it still so it's not going to slide from underneath you. You want the chair to stay put. A plyo box would be ideal, but as long as you have an elevated surface that is strong enough, sturdy enough, and stable enough to be used safely, you can always hold on to something for support. You can also just shorten up your range of motion. So like I said, your goal is to see if you can at least get your thighs parallel to the ground, but if you're not there, that's fine. Work to your own level. So if you are a beginner and you need to shorten up your range of motion, that's fine. If you can only come here, then this is your squat. As long as your back is flat, your abs are tight, and the weight is in your heels, then that's fine. All right, so your beginner modification for the squat is just to shorten up your range of motion, and if you need to, hold on to something strong, sturdy, and stable for support. So that's squats. The next thing we're going to be doing is reverse lunges, and then we're doing what I call dragon lunges. The rest of the world calls them curtsy lunges. So if you know what a curtsy lunge is, that's what we're doing. With your lunges, the dragon lunges and the reverse lunges, it's the same basic principles that we just went over for squats. So you're going to start by tucking your shoulder blades into your back pockets, making sure your shoulders are back and down. You're going to make sure your chest is lifted nice and high. You're going to tighten up your abs. And again, you want to think flat back, weight in the heels. All right, so when you're doing your lunges, again, you want to make sure as you step back into this reverse lunge that this front leg, the knee of this front leg is at more or less a 90-degree angle. The main thing you want to be cognizant of as you're doing lunges is that your knees are not over your toes. You want the knee more over the heel of this front foot. So go for a 90-degree angle in this front knee, making sure the knee is over the foot, or over the heel of this front foot as opposed to being out over the toes. All right, same thing with your dragon lunge. We're going to be, dragon lunge and the reverse lunge is almost the exact same thing, but for the dragon lunge, we're going to be stepping behind and diagonally across our body, but it's the same thing. You want to make sure that your weight is in the heel of your front foot, all right? So tucking the shoulder blades into your back pockets. Shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted nice and high. Tighten up those abs. Now you're going to pick up one foot and step it behind you like this. Now you're going to bend both knees. If you are able to tap this back knee onto the ground, that's fine, go for it. Just make sure you're controlling the movement so that you don't bang your knee into the ground. I've done it, it's not fun, I do not recommend it. So please be aware that your movement is mindful and under control. You don't have to tap this knee to the ground. But if you want to explore your full range of motion and you're capable of tapping that knee down to the ground with control so that you don't bang it, go for it. Making sure that you have a 90-degree angle in this front knee, and then you're just going to press the heel of this standing foot into the ground, step the foot forward again. All right, that's it. That's a reverse lunge. So again, if you are a beginner, you can hold on to something for support, or you can shorten up your range of motion. So if you can't step back as far as I am, and you can't tap your knee to the ground the way I am, that's fine. Shorten up your range of motion. So instead of stepping back here, step here. Instead of bending your knee so that it touches the ground, bend it this far, okay? Again, as long as you're making sure that this knee of your front leg is over your heel of your front foot and your weight is in this front heel, as long as your shoulders are back and down, your chest is lifted high, your core is engaged, your back is flat, that's fine. Shorten up your range of motion. So it doesn't matter if you're only coming here, if you're a beginner, and that's what you need to do, great. Work to your own level. So that's your beginner modification on the reverse lunges. So if you are doing push-ups from your knees, here's where you're going to want to have your exercise mat handy. This is my jump rope mat. It's nice and thick, so I like those thick exercise mats for this, but if you only have a yoga mat, they're much thinner, but they should suffice. We're not going to be doing a ton of push-ups. We're just doing one rep at a time. So even just a towel should be fine, but you will be a lot more comfortable with something soft beneath your knees, especially if you're working out on a wood floor or on concrete like I am. So if you don't do push-ups from your knees, then you won't need a mat, but I'm gonna show you the push-ups from the knees first. So the main point with your push-ups is that you want your back to be nice and flat, a straight back, okay? Some of the most common mistakes people make is that they let their back arch and they kind of sink into their shoulders. So what you want to do, go ahead and start here in a tabletop position. So I have my hands directly underneath my shoulders and my knees are directly underneath my hips. Now you can do, if you're an ultra beginner, you can actually do your push-ups from this box position. And this is going to be the easiest way to do your push-ups. I think that probably almost all beginners can manage this. If you can't, then please reach out to me because you may think that you can't do push-ups, but I promise you, you can. We can find a push-up variation that you can manage. So please don't give up on this workout or any workout that contains push-ups because you think you can't do them. You absolutely can. So start with this version if you want. This is just a box push-up. So from this box position, you can just bend your elbows and lower your chest down towards the mat. Press yourself back up. All right, so make sure that your abs are super tight, and you want to be kind of lifting your booty towards the ceiling to make sure that your back is nice and flat. And think about pressing the ground away from you. So when I say lift your booty towards the ceiling, what I mean is the opposite of this. See if you kind of curl your hips under and around your back. Now tilt your pelvis in the opposite direction as far as it will go. So try to think like you're trying to touch the ceiling with your little booty cheeks, okay? And while you do that, you're pressing the ground away from you. So make sure you're not sinking down into your shoulders like this. Actively press your hands into the mat and push the ground away from you. If you want to do a typical knee push-up, you're going to step your knees back a little bit. And you're going to have your knees together. I always cross my ankles, you really don't need to. But the point here is that you want your body in one straight line from your knees to your shoulders. So the same thing applies as far as pressing the mat away, because one of the most common mistakes I see people make is that they're kind of sinking into their shoulders like this. So you don't want to do that. You want to be in a nice high plank position. So actively press the ground away from you. And then you want to make sure that you are tightening up your abs. So a lot of people also will kind of allow their back to arch because their hips or their belly are kind of drooping to the mat like this. Instead, what you want to do is really tighten up those abs. So again, it's just like we did for our squats. If you imagine someone's about to punch you in the stomach and you're bracing for impact, tighten up your abs and use your ab muscles to lift those hips up high and keep them high. So you want to maintain that straight line from your knees to your shoulders the entire time. And then another really common mistake I see people make is letting their head drop down. So what you want is to have your head perfectly in line with your spine. Picture if you were standing up against a wall and your spine is absolutely perfectly straight on the wall and your head is right in that same line. Okay, so you want to have your neck in a nice neutral position. So find this neutral position with your head right in line with your spine, and then don't move your head. So the temptation, what happens is that a lot of people, when they try to go get their chest down to the mat in their push-up, they don't yet have the upper body strength or the core strength to get their chest all the way down to the mat, and so they compensate for that by lowering their forehead down to the mat. All right, so if you're here in your beautiful plank position, straight line from your knees to your shoulders, you're pressing the ground away from you. Your head is in a nice neutral position, so it's not drooping like this. You're also not overcorrecting by hyperextending your neck and jutting your chin out, just in a nice neutral position. And then you're going to bend your elbows and lower your chest as close to the mat as you can. Now, what happens with a lot of people is if they are not able to get their chest all the way down to the mat, what happens is they'll get here and then they'll want to compensate for the fact that they're not getting their chest down by lowering their forehead down to the mat. Or sometimes you'll see people lower their hips or their belly down to the mat. All right, so that's why once you find that beautiful plank position, you want to keep your abs tight, keep your hips lifted high, keep your back flat. Do not allow your hips or your belly to droop down, causing your back to arch. And once you've found that nice neutral position and your head is perfectly in line with your spine, don't move it. So don't bob your head up and down, just keep everything perfectly still. Once you've found that plank position, nothing should move. All right, the only thing you're doing is lowering your chest down as close to the mat as you can. If you cannot get your chest all the way down to the mat, that's fine. Just shorten up your range of motion. So the goal is to get your chest all the way down to the mat, and then you're going to press the ground away from you and push yourself back up. Keep never breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders. So watch how from my knees to my shoulders is staying in one straight line all the way down and all the way back up. Nothing is moving. So it's it's fine if you need to shorten up your range of motion. If you cannot get your chest all the way down to the mat, then just come here. Once you've gotten your chest as close to the mat as you can, you're just going to press the ground away from you. So again, you're actively pressing your palms into the mat, and you're visualizing pressing the ground away from you, coming back up to that nice, beautiful high plank. All right, so it is absolutely fine to just shorten up your range of motion. All right, what's not fine is to get here and then compensate for the fact that you're not getting your chest down by lowering your hips or your belly to the ground. That's causing my back to arch. We want to keep our abs tight, hips lifted high, flat back, straight line from the knees to the shoulders. What's not okay is to come here and then compensate for the fact that you're not getting your chest all the way down by lowering your forehead to the ground. We want our head in line with our spine, and we want to keep it perfectly still. All right, so that is the correct form for your push-ups. That's knee push-ups plus an additional beginner variation. If you're doing push-ups from your toes, all of the same principles apply. The only difference is that instead of having your knees down on the mat, you're going to come up, curl your toes under, come up to a high plank so that you have the balls of your feet pressing into the ground. And from here, everything is the same. So you want your abs nice and tight. You want those hips lifted high. Don't allow your hips or your belly to drop down to the mat. That's causing my back to arch. You want to tighten up your ab muscles. Use your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them high. You also want to make sure in your high plank position that you're not sinking into your shoulders. So press the ground away from you. From this high plank position, you're going to make sure that your head stays still. Your head is nice and in line with your spine. You're not allowing your head to drop down. You're going to bend your elbows and lower your chest as close to the ground as you can. And then press the ground away, keeping that straight line from your heels to your shoulders the whole time. And if you cannot get your chest all the way down to the ground, that's fine. You can either drop to your knees and do knee push-ups, or you can shorten up your range of motion. But don't compensate for the fact that you're not getting your chest all the way down by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat. Don't compensate for the fact that you're not getting your chest all the way down by lowering your forehead to the mat. All right, all of the same rules apply. The only difference is that you are starting in a high plank position on the balls of your feet as opposed to having your knees on the mat. So that's it, that's all 4 exercises. Squats, reverse lunges, dragon lunges, and push-ups. So here's the format. This is an AMRAP, a 5-minute AMRAP. So I have my timer set to count down 5 minutes for me. We are going to do 1 squat, then we are going to do 1 reverse lunge on each leg, then 1 dragon lunge on each leg, and then 1 push-up. So that's 1 round. We're just going to do as many rounds as we can in 5 minutes without sacrificing our form. So you're going to start with your squat, so shoulders back and down, chest is lifted high, tighten up those abs. Push the booty back like you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. Sink down into your squat, press the ground away to stand. Now 2 reverse lunges. So step back, bend the knees, step forward, other leg, step back, lunge, and step forward. Now your 2 dragon lunges or curtsy lunges. So step behind you and diagonally across your body, bend both knees, press into this front heel to stand. Other side, so pick up the opposite foot, step it behind you and diagonally across your body, sink down into the lunge, press into this front heel to stand, and now your push-up. Now, if you need an entirely impact-free workout, or if you need a silent workout, if you have downstairs neighbors, you can step your feet back. So bend down, put your hands on the mat, step your feet back, 1 at a time so that you're in a plank position. And then if you're doing knee push-ups, go ahead and put your knees down, do your push-up, come back up into your high plank position and step the feet in, stand. That's one round. All right, I'm going to be jumping my feet back. So I'm going to come down, put my hands down, and then I'm going to jump both feet back at the same time until I'm in a plank position, like this. So that's another option. You can jump the feet out and in, or you can step them out and in, okay? So let's go through it another 2 or 3 times with your beginner modifications, just so that you see how it's going to flow. So shoulders back and down, chest is high, tighten up your abs, push your booty back. Squat, now 2 reverse lunges. Step back and lunge. Step it forward, other side. Step back and lunge, step it forward. Now 2 dragon lunges. So lunging behind you and diagonally across your body, and now your push up. So hands come down, step the feet back, knees go down, push up, back up into your plank position, step the feet in and stand. Recheck your posture. Roll those shoulders back and down. Keep that chest lifted high. Tighten up those abs. Let's go again. Push the booty back, keeping your back flat, keeping the weight in your heels as you sink down into that squat. Step 1 foot behind you, lunge, step it forward. Other side. Bend both knees, press into this front heel to step forward. Now 2 dragon lunges. Lunging behind you and diagonally across your body. Push up. Hands come down, step it back. Knees down. Push up. Step it in. All right, so you're just going to do that as many times as you can for 5 minutes. Just make sure that you are going at your own pace and make sure that you are minding your form. We took like 20 minutes before the workout to go over the proper form for each and every exercise. The reason I do that is because it is incredibly important that you understand the movement and you know how to do the exercises with the correct form before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury and so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. So please make sure that you understand how to do the exercises with the correct form. If there's anything I didn't cover sufficiently, if you have questions about that, I'm right here to help, so please just ask. But make sure that you're going at your own pace and do not sacrifice your form for speed. This is an AMRAP, A-M-R-A-P, that stands for as many rounds as possible. So we're trying to complete this little sequence as many rounds as we can during our 5-minute countdown. However, it's as many rounds as possible, or as many reps as possible, some people will say, with good form. So if you find that you're just racing through the exercises because you're trying to go fast for the sake of going fast so that you can squeeze in as many reps as you possibly can, pay attention to your form. If that's causing your form to get sloppy, then you need to slow down the pace a little bit. Yes, it's going to mean that you may complete fewer reps, but you want all of your reps to be good quality so that you reduce your risk of injury and so that you maximize the benefit that you're getting out of each exercise. So make sure you're minding your form, and if you have any questions about the exercises, any doubts about how to do them with the correct form, I'm right here to help, so please just ask. You guys know it is also extremely important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. I am always here to help facilitate that. So if you need any further help with beginner modifications, please just ask. I will always be happy to help you with that. All right, so now that you have seen all of the exercises and you understand how everything fits together, let's go ahead and do our equipment-free version of the workout together. We're going to do I'm going to do two equipment-free versions of the workout with you, so you can decide if you want to do both of them or if you want to just choose one or the other based on your current level of fitness. So we will start with your beginner version of the workout. It's going to be the same 4 exercises: 1 air squat, 2 reverse lunges, 1 on each leg, 2 dragon lunges or curtsy lunges, 1 on each leg, and 1 push-up. But for the beginner version of the workout, we're going to be shortening up our range of motion a little bit for the squats and the lunges. We're going to be taking it at a little bit slower pace, and we're doing the push-ups from our knees. So if you are a beginner, or if you just do knee push-ups, then make sure that you have something soft beneath your knees. So an exercise mat or a yoga mat will be ideal. If you don't have a mat, that's fine. You can use a towel or even a blanket. If you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything at all. But for sure, if you do knee push-ups, you're going to be more comfortable with something soft beneath you. So grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If you want to do the slightly more advanced version of the workout, it's the same 4 exercises, the same format. Setting a timer to count down 5 minutes and then completing the circuit as many times as you can in 5 minutes. 1 air squat, 2 reverse lunges, 1 on each leg, 2 dragon lunges, 1 on each leg, and 1 push-up. The only difference is that for the more advanced version of the workout, I was using my full range of motion for the squats and the lunges. We were going at a little bit faster pace, and I was doing the push-ups from my toes. So you can use the beginner version of the workout as a warm-up and then go on and do the more advanced version of the workout with me if you'd like. That's absolutely fine. If you are a beginner, then you can just stick with the beginner version of the workout and call it a day. If you don't want to do both workouts and you're more advanced, you can just do the more advanced version of the workout. But if you need an equipment-free option, either you don't have anything that's going to work for weight, or you just don't feel comfortable adding weight to your workout, then that's what you're going to do today. You're going to do one of those 2 equipment-free versions of the workout. So if you are a beginner and you are ready to go ahead and do this beginner version of the workout with me, definitely grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat so that you have something soft underneath you for your knee push-ups. Take a minute to make sure you are good and warmed up, and when you're ready, let's get started. All right, so when you're ready, here we go. This is the beginner version of the workout with no added weight. My timer is set to count down 5 minutes. We're going to complete our circuit as many times as we can during 5 minutes with good form. So remember, please, to go at your own pace and do not sacrifice your form for speed. We're starting with a 10-second rest interval, so I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1. This is 10 seconds just to get ready. And now we're going to start with an air squat. So roll the shoulders back and down. You want to tuck your shoulder blades into your back pocket. Push the booty back like you're trying to touch that wall behind you with your booty. Now step back, 2 reverse lunges, 1 on each leg. Now 2 dragon lunges. Step back and lunge diagonally across your body, bending both knees. Now your push-up. Hands go down, step the feet back. Put your knees down if you need to. Do your push-up. Now come back up onto your toes, step the feet back in. That's 1 set. Keep going. We're going to do that as many times as we can in 5 minutes. So air squat, reverse lunge, 1 on each leg. Now 2 dragon lunges, 1 on each leg. And now your push-up. Put your hands down, step your feet back. Knees go down, push up. Back up onto the toes and step it in. Shortening up your range of motion if you're a beginner. But on that squat, you want to do your best to see if you can at least get your thighs parallel to the ground. Just make sure that your weight is staying in your heels. You don't want your knees to be going over your toes. So you want to push your booty back, keep your back flat, and keep the weight in your heels as you sink down into that squat. Then press the ground away. So actively press your heels into the ground. And then with your lunges, you want to make sure, again, that your back is staying flat and the weight is staying in the heel of your standing foot. So squat, trying to get your legs, your thighs parallel to the ground if you can. And now trying to make sure there's a 90-degree angle in this front knee on those reverse lunges, so that the knee in your front leg is over the heel of your front foot as opposed to being out over the toes. So you don't want your knee out over your toes. You want a 90-degree angle in that front knee. You want the knee of that front foot over the heel, or the knee of that front leg over the heel of your front foot. Making sure you're controlling the movement. So if you're able to tap that back knee to the mat, that's fine. Just make sure that the movement is under control. I don't want you banging your knee into the ground and hurting yourself. But remember that if you are a beginner, you might not be able to tap that knee down, and that's absolutely fine. That's part of your beginner modification. It's just shortening up that range of motion. Hands down. Now remember, if you want, you can jump your feet back for the push-up. And you can jump your feet in. That's up to you. Not all beginners are automatically at the same level. So if you don't have to step your feet out and in, you can jump. And if you're able to do the push-ups without putting your knees down, and you want to do that, that's absolutely fine. Just make sure you're minding your form on the push-ups. Back is staying nice and flat. Don't let your hips drop down, whether you're doing them from your toes or your knees. Keep that back nice and flat. Make sure your abs are super tight. You want your entire core engaged. Use your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them high. Then you're just bending your shoulders and lowering your chest down to the mat or as close as you can get. Your head should be in line with your spine. You want your neck in a nice neutral position, and don't allow it to move. So don't lower your forehead down to the mat. Keep your head in line with your spine. Neck in a neutral position, and keep your head still. Everything should stay perfectly still as you lower yourself down to the mat and push the ground away to return to your starting position. And that's it. That's our 5 minutes. We did it. Nice job. If you are an absolute beginner and you managed to hang in there with me for the entire 5 minutes, amazing job. It's amazing just that you did this today, okay? Because even for someone who works out on a regular basis, I struggle so much with motivation. Some days are worse than others, but I know it can be extremely hard to just get dressed and to just come out and just start with that first rep. So just the fact that you did it is amazing. You found the motivation to get yourself dressed, to come out here and to do the reps. So congratulations for that, because don't make light of that. That's huge, because think of all those days that you did nothing because it was just too hard to get motivated to get up and start moving. That's a huge hurdle. So even though this was a very basic beginner workout and it was very short, it was only 5 minutes long, you did it. So amazing job. Give yourself a pat on the back. All right, we are not quite finished yet. No workout of mine is ever complete, even if it is only 5 minutes long, and even if you are just a beginner, you are not excused from doing your bonus burpee. My workouts are never complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So let's go ahead and do a beginner bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So you're going to start standing towards the middle of your mat, bend down, put your hands flat on the mat, step the feet back, put your knees down for a push-up. Now back up into the toes, step the feet in, and stand. You can come up onto your toes, or you can add a little jump if you want. And with that, this beginner 5-minute workout is now officially complete. So please remember to take a few minutes to stretch, and then you can go have your shower, eat some lunch, and get on with the rest of your day. It's very important that you are stretching after the workouts. The best time to do your stretching is right now because your muscles are warm. This will be the most effective and the most efficient and the safest time to do your stretching. If you don't have any time to stretch right now, that's fine. If you can do it later in the day, don't skip your stretching, but if you are going to do your stretching later in the day, that's great. As long as you get it done, it's great. Just know that if you wait until later to do your stretching, your muscles will have gotten cold again. So you're going to need to warm them back up. So you're going to need to take a good 5 minutes or so to warm up again before you can safely do your stretching. Okay, so if you can spare 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes or even 30 minutes is better if you can do it. But right now is the best time to do your stretching. Doing it later in the day is fine, just don't skip your stretching. But that is our beginner workout. So if that's all you're doing today, thank you for working out with me. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all right back here on Monday. If you'd like to stick around and do the more advanced version of the workout with me, 1 air squat, 2 reverse lunges, 1 on each side, 2 dragon lunges, 1 on each side, and then 1 push-up. We're just going to complete that little circuit as many times as we can in 5 minutes without sacrificing form, so do your best. I'm starting with a 10-second rest interval, and now get ready. So roll the shoulders back and down, chest is lifted high, tighten up your abs. You're gonna push your booty back like you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, sinking into that squat with a flat back, keeping the weight in your heels. Now 2 reverse lunges, 1 on each side, 2 dragon lunges, 1 on each side, and now a push-up. So you can jump or step the feet back, and jump or step the feet back in. That is up to you. That's 1 round. We're just going to keep going, completing as many rounds of these 4 exercises as we can before our 5 minutes is up. So squat, reverse lunge, reverse lunge. Now I call this a dragon lunge. I know everybody else, like in the whole world, calls it a curtsy lunge, so whatever you call it, that's what we're doing. So you're lunging behind you and diagonally across your body. Then 1 push-up. So air squat, step it back, 2 reverse lunges, 2 dragon lunges, push up. So, oops, I almost went into my dragon lunges before my reverse lunges. I guess it doesn't really matter, but just make sure that you're checking in with your posture. So you want to visualize tucking your shoulder blades into your back pockets so that your shoulders are back and down. I don't know why I'm so determined to skip my reverse lunges. That's the second time I did it wrong. You also want to make sure that you're keeping your back flat and the weight is staying in your heels. Remember that you can do the push-up from your knees if you want. That is absolutely fine. And remember that you can step out and step in for your push-up. If you need a completely impact-free workout, or if you need your workout to be silent. If you have downstairs neighbors maybe, and they're going to be disturbed by any jumping, that's fine. We have about 90 seconds left. So keep pushing. Make sure that you're minding your form on that push-up. Keeping your body in one straight line. From your heels to your shoulders. If you're doing the push-ups from your toes. If you're doing knee push-ups, then that straight line is going to be from your knees to your shoulders. But you want to make sure that you're not allowing your head to drop down. Keep your head in line with your spine and keep your neck still. Keep those abs super tight. Use your ab muscles to lift your hips up high and keep them high. So that your hips and your belly aren't drooping down, causing your back to arch. And you guys, that's it. That's our 5 minutes, we did it. Okay, good job. That was a pretty tough 5 minutes. So shake it out. We are not quite finished yet. No workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just 1 rep left to go. And let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together. And then the workout will be officially complete. When you're ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. With that, the workout is now officially complete. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did this little 5-minute workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. If you do want to increase the difficulty and add weight, here is your third option. The third version of the workout is going to be with dumbbells added. So for my workout last week, if you saw last week's 5-Minute Friday workout, I was doing this same workout, but I was adding weight, and my weights were a set of 10-pound dumbbells. 10 pounds is a good weight for me. You may need to use something lighter or heavier depending on your strength and your level of fitness, what you have available to you, and how hard you are looking to push yourself today. So please consider all of those factors when choosing your weight and make the decision that is best for you. Of course, if you don't have dumbbells, but you do want to challenge yourself to add weight, you can look for household items that will work. So maybe a couple of water bottles or shampoo bottles filled with some sort of weight, like uncooked rice or dried beans or kitty litter, for example. You can even just grab a couple of cans of soup from the pantry. But if you want to see what the workout looks like with weight added, go ahead and watch this very brief tutorial from last week's 5-Minute Friday workout. So we're doing essentially the same workout: 1 squat, 2 reverse lunges, 1 on each leg, 2 dragon lunges, 1 on each leg, and then 1 push-up. But I'm going to be adding weights. So that means that I'm going to be adding an upper body component to each of those 4 exercises. So at this point, I am assuming one of 2 things is true. Either you watched the tutorial section of this video, so that now you understand how to do all 4 of these exercises with the correct form, or you didn't watch the tutorial section of this video, but you already knew how to do all 4 of these exercises with the correct form. So I'm not going to be going over how to do these exercises in great detail. If you have any doubts about how to do squats, lunges, or push-ups with the correct form, please go back and watch the tutorial section of this video. That's where I explained how to do all 4 of these exercises in great detail. It is incredibly important that you understand how to do the exercises with the correct form before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury and so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. So if you have any questions, I'm always here to help. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help, but all of the information that you need is already in this video. So if you have any doubts about how to do these exercises with the correct form, please watch the tutorial section. So again, we are doing 1 squat, one reverse lunge on each leg, one dragon lunge on each leg, and one push-up. Here are the upper body components that I am adding to each of those exercises. So for the first exercise, instead of just an air squat, we're essentially going to do a thruster. So I'm going to bring the weights up kind of like a hammer curl. My palms are going to be facing my ears. And then from this squat position with the weights up by my shoulders and my palms facing my ears, I'm going to press my heels into the ground to stand, and then I'm going to press the weights up overhead. Now I'm going to bend my elbows and bring the weights back down to my shoulders with control, and then I'm going to straighten my elbows and bring the weights down to my side. All right, so that's the first exercise. We're just adding an overhead press to our squat. Now for our 2 reverse lunges, I'm going to be adding a fly, one arm at a time. So as I step back into my reverse lunge, this weight that's on the same side as the foot that's stepping back is going to stay right here at my side. With the other arm, I'm going to do a fly. So I'm going to lift the weight up towards the side. Make sure that you have a slight bend to your elbow. You're not actively trying to straighten your arm. You don't want to lock out your elbow. There should be a slight bend to your elbow. And make sure also that you're not lifting the weight straight out to the side. You want to angle your arm forward slightly. So it's at more of like a 45-degree angle as you do that fly, that lateral arm raise. Yeah, it's a lateral arm raise, right? Okay, so the arm that's going to be lifting the weight is the arm that's on the same side as your standing leg. So I'm going to step one foot back, and with the opposite arm, I'm going to lift the weight. And as I step the foot back in, the weight comes back down to my side. Now repeat that on the other side. So stepping back with the other foot, that means that now this will be my standing leg, and so this is the arm that's going to do the lateral arm raise. So step back, lateral arm raise, step forward, bring the weight back down to the side. Now I'm going to do my 2 dragon lunges or curtsy lunges, and this time with each lunge, I'm going to do a cross body hammer curl. So my palms are facing the outsides of my legs. For all of these exercises, my palms are always facing each other. So my palms are facing each other. For the thruster, okay, my palms are facing each other as we do the lateral arm raise, and my palms will be facing each other at the start of the movement, all right? They're gonna shift a little bit as we do the curl, but your starting position for this movement, you're starting with your palms facing each other, so they're gonna be facing the outsides of your legs. And you're going to basically do a hammer curl, but you're going to bring the weight across to the other shoulder. So instead of curling the weight up to the shoulder on the same side, I'm going to bring it across my body and curl it up towards the shoulder on the opposite side. So as I step this foot back and diagonally across my body for that dragon lunge, the standing leg, so the same way we did for our reverse lunge, it was the standing leg that was the same side as the arm that was working, same here. So this is going to be my standing leg. This is the arm that's working. I'm going to bring that weight up towards the opposite shoulder. And then as I press into this heel to stand, I'm going to return to my starting position. Repeat that on the other side. So my palms are facing the outside of my legs. I'm going to pick up the other foot, lunge behind me and diagonally across my body. And the arm that's on the same side as the standing leg is going to be my working arm. It's going to curl the weight up towards the opposite shoulder so that it will look like this, all right? Dragon lunge with that cross body hammer curl. Return to the starting position, other side. Lunge and curl, return to the starting position. All right, so we'll just do 1 rep on each leg. And then the final exercise is push-ups. I'm going to be doing Renegade row push-ups. Before I demonstrate this exercise, I just want to call your attention to the fact that my dumbbells are hex dumbbells. That means that they are shaped like a hexagon here on the end, and that means that they are flat on the bottom. This is a significant detail because to do our Renegade row push-ups, we are going to be in a plank position with our entire weight on the dumbbells. we're going to do a push-up from this position, holding on to the dumbbells. And then we're going to do 2 plank rows. So one at a time, I'm going to bend my elbow and row the weight up towards the shoulder on that same side. All right, that's a Renegade row push-up. It's a push-up, holding onto the dumbbells, plus 2 plank rows, 1 on each side. If your dumbbells are rounded on the ends, or if you are using household items like cans of soup or shampoo bottles or water bottles, then I would prefer that you modify this exercise by doing your push-up with your hands flat on the floor or the ground. You can still do your 2 plank rows, but as you row the weight on one side, you'll have the other hand flat on the floor or the ground so that you're stable. If you're using rounded dumbbells, they're liable to roll around on you while you are holding onto them in a plank position and doing push-ups on them, and I don't want anyone falling and getting hurt. Obviously, it is also not safe to use household items. I know a lot of people will do push-ups on rounded dumbbells. It's your workout, so it is up to you to decide what level of risk you feel comfortable taking. So that's a judgment call. For the record, my personal preference would be that if your dumbbells are rounded, that you apply this modification I'm about to show you and do your push-up with your hands flat on the floor or the ground. But definitely, at least rounded dumbbells are kind of built for this sort of thing, but shampoo bottles, water bottles, cans of soup are definitely not. So for sure, if you are using a household item for weight, that's great, but please apply this modification so that you are doing the exercise safely. So if we have just finished our 2 dragon lunges, what you're going to do is bend down, put your weights down on the ground and let go of them. Put your hands flat on the floor or the ground. Now you can jump or step your feet back so that you're in a plank position and do your push-up from this position. And then you can do your plank rows, 1 on each side, but you're going to keep one hand flat on the ground. You're going to pick up your weight with the other hand and row the weight. So you're just bending your elbow and bringing the weight up towards the shoulder on that same side. Now straighten the elbow, put the weight down, let it go. Put this hand flat on the ground and repeat that on the other side. So this hand stays flat on the ground as you pick up your weight with the opposite hand and row the weight. Bend your elbow, bring the weight up towards the shoulder on the same side. Straighten your elbow, put the weight down, let go of it. Put both of your hands flat on the floor of the ground. Jump or step your feet back in, and then you can pick up your weights, curl them for your thruster, and start your next round. All right, so yeah, that's really the only modification you're going to need. Just please use your common sense and be safe. All right, so let's put 1 round all together so that you see exactly what we're going to be doing, and then we will go ahead and get right into the workout. So starting with your thruster, you're going to squat down, curl the weights up to your shoulders, press the heels into the ground, push the weights up overhead, bring the weights back down to your shoulders, straighten the elbows. Now 2 reverse lunges, and remember we are adding 1 lateral arm raise. Now lateral arm raise on the other side, 2 dragon lunges, and the upper body component we're adding to our dragon lunges is those cross body hammer curls. And now our 1 Renegade row push-up. So put the weights down, jump or step the feet back so that you're in a plank position holding onto the dumbbells. Push up on the dumbbells if you're flat on the bottom. And now row, row, jump or step the feet in. That's 1 round. Right into your next round. So curl the weights, thruster, reverse lunge with the lateral arm raise. 1 rep on each side. Now dragon lunge with a cross body hammer curl. 1 rep on each side. 1 Renegade row push up. All right, that's it. That's the entire workout. We are just going to repeat as many rounds of that circuit as we can in 5 minutes without sacrificing your form. Of course, please remember to go at your own pace, and please remember never to sacrifice your form for speed. It is very important that you are doing the exercises correctly so that you don't get injured. So please remember that it is always fine to reach out if you have any questions or if you need help. All right, so that's what the workout looks like if you want to add dumbbells to the mix. So if that looks good to you and that's the workout you want to do today, then go ahead and grab a set of dumbbells. If you don't have dumbbells, again, maybe a couple of shampoo bottles or water bottles filled with some sort of weight, or even a couple of cans of soup from the pantry. Take a minute to make sure you are good and warmed up. And when you're ready, let's get started. All right, when you're ready, here we go. I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1. This is a 10-second rest interval just to get ready. We are starting with a thruster. So squat down, grab the weights. You're going to curl the weights up to your shoulders. And then as you stand, you're going to press the weights up overhead. Now 2 reverse lunges, adding that lateral arm raise with each lunge. Now 2 dragon lunges, adding a cross body hammer curl with each rep. And now 1 renegade row push-up. So push up on the dumbbells, row and row. Jump or step at the end. That's round 1. We're going to complete as many rounds as we can before our 5 minutes is up. So do your best. Weights down. You can jump or step your feet back. And you can do the push-up from your knees if you need to. That's absolutely fine. Jump or step the feet back in. Back to the top. Thruster. Reverse lunge with a lateral arm raise, dragon lunge, that cross body bicep curl. 1 renegade row push up, and again, thruster. 1 reverse lunge on each leg, 1 dragon lunge on each leg. And now push up, row, row. We just have one round left to go. Let's finish up this round. And that's our 5 minutes. We did it. That was really tough, so amazing job if you managed to hang in there with me for the entire 5 minutes. We are not quite finished yet. No workout of mine is ever complete, even if it is only 5 minutes long, until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just 1 rep left to go. Let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So when you're ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. All right, so that brings us to today's version of the workout, where I'm going to be doing, again, essentially the exact same workout. It's the same 4 exercises and the same structure. We're doing 1 squat, 2 reverse lunges, 1 on each leg, 2 dragon lunges or curtsy lunges, 1 on each leg, and 1 push-up. But this time, I am adding weight by holding onto my sandbag. Now for reference, and for reference only, my sandbag is filled with about 25 pounds of sand. Again, that weight works well for me, but you may need to use something lighter or heavier depending on your strength, depending on your level of fitness, depending on what you have available to you, and depending on how hard you want to push yourself today. So please consider all of those factors when choosing your weight and make the decision that is best for you. If you do not have a sandbag, but you do want to try this version of the workout, you might be able to fashion something similar to a sandbag by grabbing a duffel bag or a backpack and filling it with some sort of weight. Maybe bags of dog food or kitty litter or bags of beans or rice or something like that. Okay, so get creative and use what you've got. I will say that if you plan on following my workouts regularly, a sandbag would not be a bad investment. I don't use it every day, but I make frequent enough use of it that it would be a good investment. You would definitely get a lot of use out of it. So something to consider. If you don't have a sandbag, but you do have a kettlebell, you really can kind of do exercises very similar to what I'm doing with my sandbag with your kettlebell. So that's yet another option. I don't have a kettlebell. Otherwise, I would demonstrate those modifications for you, and then we would drag this series into another week because I would do a kettlebell version of the workout, but I don't own a kettlebell. But if you do, you can very easily do the workout mostly essentially the way I'm doing it with my sandbag, but holding onto your kettlebell. So that's another option for you. So let's go ahead and quickly go over the exercises the way I'm going to be doing them today with my sandbag, and then we'll go ahead and do this 4th and final version of this workout. And then next Friday, I'll have something completely new for you, I promise. So we're starting with our squat variation. I'm going to be adding a sandbag clean. So what that means is that I'm going to start with this sandbag down here in front of me. I'm going to grab the handles of my sandbag. Now this sandbag has handles on this side so that when I'm grabbing them, my palms are facing each other. There's also another set of handles. So when I grab these handles, my palms are facing the front of my legs, okay? So if you have something similar to this, the handles I'm using are the handles where my palms are facing each other, okay? So right now, this palm is facing you, this palm is facing this gate behind me as I grab the handles. And once I grab the handles of my sandbag, I'm never going to let go of the sandbag for the entire 5-minute duration of the workout, okay? So that's the grip I have on my sandbag. So before I clean the sandbag, you wanna start, this is going to apply not only to this sandbag clean, but to your squats and your lunges as well. I'm assuming at this point that you have either watched the tutorial so that you understand how to do your squats, lunges, and push-ups with the correct form, or that's something that you already had a firm grasp on. So I'm not going to go over correct form for your squats, lunges, and abs in great detail, okay? So again, please make sure that you understand how to do those exercises with the correct form so that you reduce your risk of injury and so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of these exercises, okay? So tuck the shoulder blades into the back pocket. Shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted nice and high. You're gonna tighten up your abs, push the booty back. Make sure there's a soft bend to your knees. You are not actively straightening your legs. Don't lock out your knees like this. You specifically don't want to do that. You want a soft bend to your knees. You're hinging at the hips. So push your booty back. Visualize trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. At the same time, remember your chest is lifted nice and high. Keep your chest lifted nice and high. So while you're trying to touch that wall behind you with your booty, think about trying to touch this wall in front of you with your chest. You want to keep your back nice and flat. Don't allow your back to round. You want a nice elongated spine. So shoulders back and down, chest lifted high, abs are super strong and tight and engaged, as though someone is about to come punch you in the stomach and you're bracing for impact. Push your booty back. You're hinging at the hips while you have a soft bend to your knees and you're trying to touch that wall behind you with your booty, at the same time trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. So from here, you're going to grab the handles of your sandbag and you are going to actively press your heels into the ground, hinge at the hips to stand, and as you do that, you're going to bring the sandbag with you. You're going to flip it up and over so that it lands in your elbows like this. All right, so from here, chest is lifted high, shoulders are back and down, abs are tight, pushing the booty back, back is flat, weight is in the heels, soft bend to the knees, grab the handles of the sandbag, press the heels into the ground, hinging at the hips to stand, bring the sandbag with you and flip it up and over so that it lands like this in your elbows. Now from here, so that's our sandbag clean. From here, we're going into our squat component. So we're going to do a Zercher squat. All that means is that I'm doing my squat from this position, hugging my bag tight to my chest. So again, your shoulders are back and down, your chest is lifted high, your abs are super tight and engaged. You're pushing your booty back, keeping the back flat, keeping the weight in your heels as you sink down into your squat, and then you're going to press the ground away with your heels. So really push those heels into the ground to stand, and then we're going to add an overhead press. So you're just gonna straighten your elbows and lift the bag straight up overhead. Now bend the elbows and bring the bag back down to your chest. That is our squat component, all right? So one more time, it's a sandbag clean plus a Zercher squat and an overhead press. Now for our 2 reverse lunges, I'm going to keep my bag right where it is. So I'm hugging my sandbag into my chest. I'm going to step back into my reverse lunge. And as I do that, I'm going to twist my body thoracically towards the outside of this front leg. As I step back in, I'm going to bring the bag back in front of me, and I'm going to bring this knee up in front of me. Then set the foot down. Repeat that on the other side. So now lunging back with the other foot, lunge back, twist. Now step forward, twisting back to the front and bringing that knee up. Then set the foot down. Now for my dragon lunges, I'm going to bring the bag down and to the outside of my front leg as I step back into my lunge. So stepping back with this foot, I'm going to lunge back and diagonally across my body. And as I do that, I'm going to let the bag fall down towards the outside of this front leg. We're going to repeat that on the other side. So as I press this heel into the ground to stand, I'm going to swing the bag in front of me like this. and then right into my dragon lunge on the other side. All right, and then as I step forward, I'm gonna swing the bag in front of me again, and then let it fall down in front of me. All right, so one more time. The bag is up here to start. We just finished our 2 reverse lunges. Now, dragon lunge, let the bag fall to one side. And now as you go straight into your next rep, you're gonna swing the bag in front of you, step the foot forward, right back into your dragon lunge on the other side. Step the foot forward, swing the bag in front of you, and then you're gonna let it go down to the ground. Now, for your push-up, you can let go of the bag if you want. I find that it can be a little bit irritating for my knuckles when I hold on to the sandbag while I do my push-up. But since this entire workout is only 5 minutes long, we're not gonna be doing a ton of push-ups. So it's just gonna be a handful of reps. I'm gonna power through, but it can be a little bit irritating. And most fitness gloves don't really offer you a lot of protection for your knuckles. They're usually fingerless, or like the fingers cut off below the knuckles so that you have full mobility in your fingers. But for something like this, I do find that it can be irritating to my knuckles when I do push-ups on my sandbag. But I'm gonna power through today because, like I said, we're not gonna end up doing a ton of reps of push-ups. So if you don't wanna do push-ups on your sandbag, you can drop the sandbag, let it go, put your hands flat on the floor or the ground, jump or step your feet back into a plank position, and do any push-up variation you want with your hands flat on the floor or the ground. And if you want to add an upper body component, you can drag the bag underneath you or something like that. That's absolutely fine, but I'm just going to be doing my push-up with my hands on the sandbag. So remember, I told you that once I get a hold of these handles to start the workout, I'm never going to let go of them. So as I drop the bag down, I'm going to still be holding on to it, and then I'm going to jump my feet back into, you can step your feet back into a plank position if you want, that's fine. You can jump or step them back, it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to be doing my push-up from this position. So my hands are in fists, I'm gripping my sandbag, and I'm going to do my push-up like this. Then jump or step the feet back in, and I'm never going to let go of my sandbag, so right from here I'm gonna go into my next round. So clean the sandbag, searcher squat, overhead press. Now reverse lunge with a twist, bring that knee up, set the foot down, repeat that on the other side. Reverse lunge and twist, knee up, set the foot down. Dragon lunge, drop the bag to the side, swing it to the front, repeat. And now bag goes down, jump the feet back, push up, jump the feet back in, and right into your next round. All right, so that's it. That's what the circuit looks like with a sandbag, and that is what I'm going to be doing today. I'm just going to complete that little circuit as many times as I can with good form in 5 minutes, and that's the workout. Just one quick reminder before we begin, especially if you are going to be working out along with the video, please remember to go at your own pace and mind your form. Do not sacrifice your form for speed. But if you are ready to go ahead and do this sandbag version of the workout with me, then go ahead and grab your sandbag, or maybe a duffel bag or a backpack filled with some sort of weight. Take a minute to make sure that you are good and warmed up, and when you're ready, let's get started. All right, so as soon as you are ready, here we go. I am starting my timer in 3, 2, 1. This is 10 seconds to get ready. And now we are going to start with a sandbag clean, plus a zercher squat and an overhead press. So clean the sandbag, squat, overhead press. Now reverse lunge with a twist, drive that knee up, repeat that on the other side. Lunge and twist, drive the knee. Now 2 dragon lunges. Swing the bag, other side. Put the bag down, jump or step the feet back. Push up on the sandbag. Jump or step the feet back in, and now start over with your sandbag. Clean, zercher squat, overhead press. Reverse lunge with a twist, bring the knee up in front. Repeat that on the other side. Dragon lunge. One on each side. Put the bag down, push up. Jump or step the feet back in. Sandbag clean. Squat, overhead press. Lunge and twist, drive the knee up. Lunge and twist, drive the knee up. Lunge, swing the bag. Put the bag down. Push up. Keep going. Just trying to do as many rounds as you can during our 5-minute countdown without sacrificing your form.
last rep. That's our 5 minutes plus 1 push-up.
That was a really, really tough 5 minutes. So if you managed to hang in there with me for the entire 5 minutes, amazing job. You guys, this is our 3rd iteration of this workout. 2 Fridays ago, we did this workout without any added weight. Then last week, we added dumbbells, and this week, I decided to add my sandbag, and this, for me, was by far the most challenging, most difficult, most taxing version of the workout. So let me know if you did this workout with a sandbag or something similar, or if you decided to use a kettlebell or dumbbells like we did last week, or if you went with the bodyweight version. Let me know what you thought of it and how you did. We are not quite finished yet. No workout of mine is ever complete, even if it is only 5 minutes long, until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just 1 rep left to go. But first, it is time for the McFlurry Minute. So I am going to reset my timer to count down 1 minute for me. I am going to jump rope for 60 seconds, and if I can make it through the entire 60-second work interval without tripping over my jump rope, everybody wins a free McFlurry. So give me just a minute to reset my timer and go grab my jump rope. I will be right back. All right, my timer has been reset. I've got my sweet little Rude Becca with me today. Rude Becca is my adorable black jump rope with the little white skulls on the handles. And if you're wondering where I get my jump ropes, there is a link and a coupon code in the description box down below the video. So click on the link and use coupon code RudeBecca to save an additional 10% on your jump rope. If you saw Wednesday's McFlurry Minute, I misspoke. I lost track of my days. I said on Wednesday that we had a streak of 4 successful McFlurry Minutes going into Wednesday's workout, and that we were trying to make it 5 in a row, but I miscounted. I was a day off. Going into Wednesday's workout, we had already completed 5 successful McFlurry Minutes in a row. So that means we have a streak going of 6 successful McFlurry Minutes in a row, and we are trying to make it 7 in a row today. So wish me luck. We are starting, as always, with a 10-second rest interval, and now hopefully in just about 60 seconds from now, we will have completed our 7th successful McFlurry Minute in a row. Here we go. We did it. That is 7 in a row. 1 week's worth of free ice cream. Amazing. Rude Becca came through for us yet again. Free McFlurries all around. You love to see it. So now we have just 1 rep left to go. Let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. When you're ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. With that, the workout is now officially complete. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did this little 5-minute workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately, and even if you are not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It really does mean the world to me. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years, Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. One final reminder that if anything is unclear with the format, if you have any questions about the exercises that we were doing today or in any of the 4 iterations of this workout, if you have any doubts at all about how to do any of these exercises with the correct form, or if you need help with beginner modifications, please just ask. If you enjoy these 5-minute workouts and you would like to see more of them, please remember that I have an entire playlist of 5-minute workouts on my channel. I will link it right there, and we will be continuing to do these 5-minute Fridays every week for the foreseeable future. So that means that I will be continuing to bring you at least one new 5-minute workout a week every week for the foreseeable future. That is going to do it for today. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and I will see you all on Monday. Bye.